Hi, everyone. We're back with another edition of Ladies of Golf, where we introduce you to women thriving in the golf industry. Today, I am honored to introduce you to Ashleigh McLaughlin, Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Youth on Course. Thanks for joining us, Ashleigh.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you. Good to meet you finally.
I know. That's been one of my favorite parts of doing these is finally putting faces with names. So I think I understand that you graduated from Florida State University. Did you play college golf there?
I did, yeah.
How was that experience?
It was awesome. It was so when I was in high school, kind of touring schools with my dad, traveling around the country, I was like adamant about going out of state and being as far away from home as possible.
Yeah.
So we went all over the country, my poor dad. And eventually one of the last schools that I visited was FSU, which, was a 4-hour drive. So it's not like it was convenient for my parents to get to and from. But when I got on campus and I met the coach of the women's golf team, I was like, that was it. That was the decision for me to go to FSU. And I had a great experience while I was there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how did you then, obviously you knew about the LPGA then, but how did you kind of end up there instead of perhaps going professional yourself?
Oh gosh. Well, while I played golf in high school and college, and loved the game, I think I gave professional competition thought my my senior year of high school, or excuse me, of college, for a solid 24 hours before I decided that was definitely not for me.
Okay.
While I could play and compete, I enjoy leisure golf. I enjoy, playing for fun. And what led me to the LPGA, just like that, rush decision of whether or not I should play competitively for a career, was having to enter the real world and get a real job. So I figured I should probably try to figure out what it is that I really love to do, what I really want to do long term. Marketing was always my passion. Working in business was always my passion. Golf actually never came into my mind at all outside of maybe playing professionally. I had no idea what types of careers really existed in the golf industry. And so I pursued other sports marketing, but NBA, I was looking at a lot of NBA teams my senior year of college. And a friend of mine mentioned the PGA Tour's diversity internship program to me.
Okay.
And then kind of a light bulb went off. I thought, oh, I could work in golf. That would be really cool. And so there just so happened to be one of the recruiters who's the head of the internship program, who was at the career fair at FAMU, which is the HBCU, which is down the street from FSU.
Okay.
Obviously, I didn't go to FAMU, but I figured out a way to sneak into the career fair and get in front of the recruiter there, and introduce myself, and then eventually was able to participate in the internship program. And that's when I really discovered the golf industry was definitely where I wanted to place my career. I worked that summer at the First Tee, so I was surrounded by people who were really passionate about growing the game and junior golf, and were also, incredibly talented. That was a very diverse workforce there as well.
Okay.
And while I was there was an opening at the LPGA, within the LPGA at the time, teaching a club professional. So I applied for that position, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, but you've kind of been involved in a few different departments at the LPGA, right?
Yeah. So I started with the LPGA professionals. So those are the teachers, the club pros, the coaches who work in the game, and did a little bit of member services, a lot of tournament organizing. So as a tournament director for a number of years, did some marketing and member programs while I was there, and then shifted over to the LPGA Foundation. So I worked with the scholarship program, but mostly my emphasis was on LPGA, USGA girls golf. So I worked closely there with programming, and helped take them through a rebrand. And then shifted over to leading the LPGA Women's Network, which is the digital platform that I helped to launch. So yeah, I've kind of bounced around in every department outside of really the LPGA Tour, which is really interesting. But it's been really neat to kind of grow a lot of the grassroots efforts that are helping to grow the game.
For sure. I feel like you've been able to see everything from instructors to junior female golfers, to what's like a common thread that you see about like their personalities or their influence on the game, or what was something like you just really enjoyed about working with female golf?
I would say for sure their passion, and I got that just immediately with working with the LPGA professionals from day
Mm.
one. Those are the women who are superbly passionate about their role in influencing other people's lives through the game of golf. And that is
Mm.
very much true throughout every bit of the organization that I had a chance to touch. Everybody seems to be working towards a common goal, which is really interesting to me. They, from our players to our professionals, and everybody involved in girls golf. And I would say that a lot of the success of the LPGA girls golf program and the growth of that program is a direct result of that passion, from the teachers who are on the game administering the program to the players who also feel ownership of girls golf and want to be role models and want to be engaged with the young women in that program. They all also had a significant hand in helping us to launch the LPGA Women's Network. So from
Mm.
young women who are first touching the club to other women who want to play the game but are not sure how to navigate their way in, everybody across the board has taken a large bit of ownership in owning that and helping to really craft what those spaces look like. So that's been something really unique about being inside the doors of the LPGA for sure.
Yeah. I realized I never really asked you, like, how did you get into the game?
Kind of by accident.
Mm.
So I didn't necessarily have a traditional route into golf. My introduction to golf started, I was 10.
Okay.
We had family friends whose daughters were involved in a junior golf program here in Orlando called the Orlando Minority Youth Golf Association, which is a
Oh,
junior golf program that's been around for almost 30 years. It's been around
wow.
since before the first tee and a lot of other organizations, with the intention of bringing black and brown kids into the game and really outreaching to the inner city. And so we were at like an Easter party or something like that, and my parents asked us, my sister and I, if we wanted to play golf, and we assumed they meant putt-putt. And so we're like, yeah, sure, that sounds fun. And we showed up and it was real golf. It was like real clubs, real grass. It was legitimate. But the founder of that program, his name is Dr. Dorsey. Everybody calls him Doc. He was just he's just like an angel person. He was just welcoming, jolly, just so friendly. All of the kids that we met there made it a really fun time. And so we stuck with it. And that's just where we found our little slice of community. And I just grew up in that program. And that's what helped get me, essentially into playing college golf. I had no
Wow.
professional lessons. It was just my GA coaches helping me along. So I definitely owe them all the credit there.
That's amazing. Do you know of any other, cities or regions that have similar minority development programs?
Yeah, there are a few. I know there's one in Ohio, there's one
Hmm.
in Atlanta. There's a couple of organizations that have been around for a while that reach and outreach directly to minority youth.
Nice, nice. I'll have
Yeah.
to look. Yeah. But speaking of which, a few weeks ago we spoke with Tari Cash, who is the
Mhm.
City Swing. It's an indoor simulator in Washington D.C. And the reason she started it was to bring a more diverse group to golf and make it more approachable to people of
Mhm.
backgrounds and ages and races and genders. So I did want to address race just because it has a bit of a strained relationship with golf.
Mhm.
If you don't mind, just like, I mean, you did kind of just speak to your background with being a minority and in golf, but in what ways do you feel like race and ethnicity has kind of impacted you, whether it was personally learning the game and then playing college golf, and then also professionally maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think so I've always considered golf to be kind of the final frontier, so to speak, when it comes
Huh.
to you know, racial diversity, social equity. It's a space that has traditionally been exclusively for white men.
Mhm.
And still there's a lot of a kind of residue that exists in that regard. And so, you know, a lot of the work that I've been fortunate enough to do has been focused on minority groups, whether it is through the Girls Golf Program, whether it's through the LPGA Women's Network. It's been, and even my work now today through the Youth on Course organization. You know, I'm really blessed and fortunate to be able to put my focus in helping to do whatever I can to help make this a more welcoming space for everybody. I think golf naturally lends itself to being a space where you can get out and tee it up with anybody, and you're playing the same game, the same course, and you're recognizing what it is that you have in common versus what it is that's different about you. But golf certainly has come a long way, you know, from being a junior golfer and, you know, being a member of the OMYGA, you know, being on a bus full of black kids being dropped off at a golf course and not always being met with welcoming open arms, to now being a black woman who's working in golf and entering spaces where even in my earlier years, you know, I wasn't the intern, I was the boss in a lot of situations. And so coming into a space where people are not used to seeing that,
Yeah.
it was definitely different in some scenarios. So, you know, I think that from my experience being, you know, 10 to now, things have evolved in a positive way, but there's still a lot of work left to do. And there's so much intimidation to the game of golf. There's so much of, you know, I think probably not just in golf, but in a lot of industries, one of the bigger challenges that we have is not just attracting people to this game, it is also a tolerance thing. So it is making other people who have a bit more of a traditional mindset and a limited experience and perspective meeting and dealing with people from other backgrounds, you know, helping them understand the importance of being open to other people and other ways of thought. You know, I think that there's just so much to be done in golf. It's sometimes a little bit overwhelming to understand where to begin, but a lot of that, in my belief, is with young people. You know, they are certainly going to be the catalyst that helps to move things in a forward direction in the future, which is why I'm really proud to be able to put more of my work in that space now.
Yeah, I work at the USGA, and I'm grateful that they've done some like internal podcasts with employees of different backgrounds and different races. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the topics that they talked about was like not necessarily like what can you do to, you know, improve the way that people interact with one another, but it was just like how can you be more cognizant of what's going on around you?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one of the women said, you know, it's sometimes just like the tone of voice that you use and like the questions that are asked or just like an element of surprise. You know, she said that, you know, after she did a presentation once, one of like the executives in the room was like, she did a really good job. And she was like, well, that was a little like condescending. I mean, would you have said that if like a white male just
Yes,
like, why are
yes,
you acting so surprised? And I think
yes.
it's the same, you know, it can, you know, it can go, that can happen professionally, but that can also
Mhm.
just on the golf course. Like
Uh-huh.
you should be welcoming, you should be open-minded and bringing more people into the game, but then also just like treat them as if, you know, they're any other golfer that you would play with.
Yeah, yeah. And genuinely, you know, for some people, they are surprised because they
Yeah.
have not seen that before. And that is, you know, part of probably the Black experience in working in any corporation. I know for sure for me, anytime I do any public speaking, at least one person walks up to me and says, "You are so articulate," you know? And it's like, I know, you know, that's why I have this position. That's my
True.
job.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know, I often find myself, because I come from a family of strong presenters, and
Mm.
you know, we often, like, after somebody has something that they're presenting, they ask, well, how did it go? And we're generally saying, you know, oh, I think people have got it, you know, they understood what I was saying. But we'll ask each other, but were you articulate? is the real question. Were you articulate? And yes, the answer is yes. But it is certainly, I know it's not meant to offend, but a lot of it is an issue of exposure, and feeling like, for me or anybody else of my complexion to have risen to this level, we must be just outstanding. It's just, we have really fought the good fight to make it there. But it's just, it's a perception challenge for a lot of people, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely it's a very good point. But I do want to talk about Youth on Course, because I think it's, it's your new role, your new place of employment. And, I've heard a lot about Youth on Course. You guys have a lot of very strong supporters in the golf industry. People are really proud of what Youth on Course is doing. Do you mind just sharing? Because I'm not sure if everyone knows what Youth on Course is.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I love and really admire about Youth on Course, beyond being a really small group, is just this simplistic approach that we're using to solve a huge problem for young people in golf. And the premise of Youth on Course is it's a national initiative, a national organization that subsidizes the cost of golf for young people who are members. So rather than going to a golf course and having to pay 20, 30, 40 plus dollars every time, they want to tee it up, Youth on Course helps subsidize that cost in partnership with a lot of state golf associations to keep the price of $5 or less. So you can be a member in Florida here or Maine. You can go to a nice golf course. You have an option to play a lot of Youth on Course golf courses in your area. And you can play more golf because it's more affordable for you. And that has been traditionally a huge barrier for families and young people who want to play the game. There are a number of really awesome junior golf programs who do a great job of getting a hand in young people's, a club in young people's hand, teaching the fundamentals of the game. But where Youth on Course was founded was because they realized, wow, there's thousands of kids that know how to play, but they're not playing golf because they simply cannot afford it. And so it just gives young people more access to golf courses. It makes golf even a possibility. We hear that from a lot of families, that golf as an activity for their kids would not be possible if it weren't for Youth on Course. And from that additional opportunity to play, we all know that golf is an incredible teacher. Like the golf course especially is an incredible teacher. They're using their memberships to be able to get ready for college, essentially playing different types of courses. They're using it right now, especially to de-stress. We're hearing a lot from our members that everything that's kind of happening in the world, the golf course is one of the few safe activities that they can do at a social distance. And it's also providing them a little bit of normalcy, so to speak. So it's a really awesome program and does a lot to make golf affordable. But in addition to that, I have to mention that there's also other programs that Youth on Course offers. One is a caddy program. One is an internship program as well, where same thing, to get kids in front of golfers, in front of mentors that can help potentially influence their career and get them considering working in the golf industry.
Sure.
We help subsidize their salaries so that a golf course doesn't have to choose between not bringing a young person in. Will help make that opportunity possible through that as well.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that you're just trying to open doors for people to be exposed.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it's about.
I read the article that you were featured in golf.com specifically about Youth on Course, and just like the massive growth you guys have had during COVID. Can you just speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it's been incredible. Like I mentioned, to hear from kids and families, how much deeper their appreciation for golf is right now. It's giving them an opportunity to experience a lot of things that they, in their normal lives aren't able to because they're quarantining, right? So getting outside, getting exercise, being able to socialize with friends, in a normal sense, has been kind of taken away from them, but they're able to do that on the golf course. And we're seeing
Mhm.
that in the number of rounds of golf that are being played by youth on course members that's universally across the country. And also in some really interesting markets. So Minnesota has been one of the states where like youth on course membership has grown to about 10,000, and the
Oh,
number of rounds being played has grown. It's increased by almost 400%. I think it's like 383
oh my gosh.
right now. So kids are signing up because, you know, not only is golf one of the few activities that they can do safely right now, but also from a financial standpoint, a lot of families are pinched right now, right? So being able to play and play in an affordable
Mm.
way has become even more valuable for people. And it's just really nice to have that, the purpose of what it is that we do kind of reinforced at this time. And also to be helping people is really nice as well.
Yeah, my hope is like that this sticks. I hope
Mhm.
once kids can go back to playing other sports and doing
Yeah,
things that like they still have that golf bug in them.
but I agree.
So
Yeah, I agree. I personally, in like an altruistic way, I feel like just based on some of the things that we're hearing, I think it will. I think the love for golf is just a little bit deeper now than it was maybe before. And while, you know, like most of us, when things settle down and we're able to normalize a little bit, we're gonna want to do everything. Like any
yeah,
and everything we're gonna want to do. But the beauty of golf is that it's a game for life, right? And you can always return to it. So, you know, I have a strong feeling that you know, what may have been recreational activity is just going to be something that our members have a much deeper passion and appreciation for in the long term too.
yeah. Speaking of playing, do you still play pretty leisurely often?
Very leisurely, not very often. I was committed like once COVID hit. Like I actually played with some friends not long ago, and was like, oh man, this is so nice just to be out of the house, outside. I miss golf. I love golf, but I have a 4-year-old, so he keeps me very
Oh,
busy. So I don't get to play as much as I would like to, but very soon he will be playing with me. So
yeah.
we'll be teeing it up together here pretty soon.
Oh, that's exciting. I didn't realize you had a little 4-year-old.
Yeah.
That's so
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I volunteer at girls golf and
Oh,
it
yes.
is,
Girls golf is so
it's
fun.
so much fun. Certainly they like run around and do cartwheels, but like,
Yeah,
it's
as they should.
yes, and just like enjoy themselves. Um,
Mhm.
but it is like very fun to see them like just play golf, have
Yes.
hand, like it's very entertaining.
Just
Like,
pure joy. Pure joy. I love all things junior golf for sure. And girls golf has a very special place in my heart.
so do you have like a group of women that you can play with, or do you have friends
I
to play with?
I do, yeah. It's funny because I have like my friends from the NYGA who I grew up playing with, who, you know,
Oh,
we all still play golf
nice.
today. I have more friends that I grew up with who knew that I play golf. When I was younger, I would invite them to play. They were not interested. Now they are. So that's also fun, bringing
Yeah.
my friends out to the golf course for their first time, and also seeing them have fun and like be successful. And that's very satisfying to me, and
Yeah.
also part of why I think you know, it's just so important. I love what you're doing with For the Ladies. I think it's so important to create that space, that community for young women to learn together side by side, because it is intimidating if you're going to a golf course for the first time, and it's so important to have somebody there. You know, as part of the mission of Invite Her was to have somebody there to help guide and coach you and make you feel comfortable, and help you fall in love with golf. So yeah, I have my little pods of friends that I get to play with here in Orlando for sure.
And hopefully soon I'll be able to host a for the
Yeah. Yes,
in
yes, yes,
Orlando.
yes. I am
Yeah.
I am in for that.
Once it's okay. I've been like talking with people who like really want to start hosting events in the fall, and I think the toughest thing with for the ladies is not everybody shows up with golf clubs. So you're
Hmm.
sharing. So you're just trying to like figure all that out has been such an interesting thing.
It's tough for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But my last question that I ask everybody is, what advice do you have for women who want to try the game maybe later in their life?
Yeah, I think for sure, bring a friend. Don't be so hard on yourself. Remember that everybody, because golf is fun. It is also maddening, and you could be stellar one day and then just have like a breakdown on the course the next. But golf is one of the few sports that will teach you so much about life, and you really have to approach it that way. You are always going to be a work in progress. The game is meant to be fun. It is a game. And so be easy on yourself, bring a friend, be intentional about going out there to have a good time. And that's exactly what will happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Ashleigh. It was nice to.
Thank you for having me. Nice to see you.
Yes, I know. It's been a long time coming, so I'm glad we made it happen.
Indeed. Yeah, agreed.
All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye.